Money it is indeed. And speaking of making another speaking of making more money on another day, Zabo is there for you. Now with Zabo, investment has been made easier. How easy is it? MTN subscribers, dial *292# as your USSD code and follow the prompts. Registration is with your national identification number, that is your NIN. And in the next 24 hours, you'll be ready to invest by the use of your phone. Now you can invest in any security or any bond whatsoever that you choose to invest in. Zabo says my money, my future. Markets open at 8:15 a.m. and close at 3:15 p.m. Monday to Friday. They are closed during weekends and during public holidays. So during such a time, you will not be able to invest anywhere. But there is no hassle with Zabo. Zabo is powered by Altex East Africa. And all right, with just 1 month to go, a few weeks to go, as the World Cup does return onto your screens, GoTV says they'll be showing all the matches live and in HD. This only happens after 4 years. Now in Qatar 2022, starting this very coming month of November, you can definitely watch the World Cup 2022 on GoTV. The long-awaited world's biggest football showpiece is back. Now, to get a GoCoder is just a 25,000 to get a shillings. Now, this also comes with a full month of GoTV value, and you can upgrade to GoTV Super at just 39,000 Ugandan shillings to watch all the 64 games live. GoTV, live it, love it. And that is more from that situationship. Now let's get back into our topic of discussion here, looking at dealing with inflation. I do have Matovu Moses, who is the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue spokesperson. The National Economic Empowerment Dialogue is NEED Uganda in abbreviation.
And it's headed by Joseph Kabuleta Kiza.
Oh.
Yes, he's my president.
Joseph Kabuleta
Kiza.
All right. Yeah. He's actually a former presidential aspirant, as well as a former TV personality, if I do remember so well. And I hope one day we shall have a chance of having him here.
Actually, if you invited him, he would be here.
In terms of doing that.
Only that now, today is just the attending court.
Oh, okay.
There's some sessions of land matters.
All right.
About TESO.
And we can still discuss more matters of national importance in regards to business as well. Now, speaking of looking at our business angle here, of what we've been discussing, inflation mainly. Getting back to our topic here, I need to understand. Now, looking at the capital reserve requirements that have been revised for commercial banks and other financial institutions, what does this imply to both the financial institutions and we, the beneficiaries, or the entire beneficiaries in the country?
Now, you are going to have a few people taking loans.
Okay.
The more you tighten the requirement, okay, on the banking sector, then you are tightening the consumer, the beneficiary. Okay. Remember, I told you it is the informal sector that basically Uganda is relying on in terms of production. Okay. And when you make it hard there, remember dealing with the informal sector, there is a lot of risks. And actually that translates to the so-called high interest rate. Okay. When we are starting, I told you, for the corporate bodies, these corporate companies, the big companies, their lending rate is between 12 to 15. For the informal sector, it is between 21 and 31. Why? Now, recovering the money from them is big. It's a big task. They have no financial records, audited books of accounts, nothing. Now, you are giving out money to this person actually on speculation. So when you are giving out money, you must be very cautious. So you are factoring in that risk while giving out the money. Instead of giving the person at 12% or 13, you are giving that person at 30% or 28% because you are factoring in the other risk. Now, when you tighten the rope on the bank, they are going to go too slow to their beneficiaries, that is the borrowers. So now, borrowing or accessing credit is going to become a bit hard. So what you are asking, who is benefiting more and who is being squeezed, it is this the large population of the informal sector. Because of the tightening there, so they also have to tighten while giving out money. And thence, it translates into a lot of things, investment, whatever. So that's how it affects them.
Okay, and why do you think the foreign exchange reserves have also taken a trend now in the increase in regards to the situation that they're taking a depreciating trend, and currently they're at around $3.8 billion?
I think that can be attributed to that the foreign shocks, that war between Iraq and Russia and Ukraine. And this has been the trend globally, not just in Uganda, but globally, even USA, even England. Things are not good. Okay, now we are mentioning commercial banks and the Bank of Uganda here. Yeah. The difference? The difference is Bank of Uganda is the supervisor. It regulates. Okay, it is the supervisor. It regulates the commercial banks. So whatever is done by the commercial banks is regulated by the Bank of Uganda. So the difference is literally Bank of Uganda does not lend to the common person. It gives money to the commercial banks. Then commercial banks give money to the wananchi. So now the difference is, as you say, the other one is a commercial bank, and this one is a regulatory body. If I could make it easier for somebody to understand. But again, a Bank of Uganda is charged with issuance of currency, contrary to the commercial banks. So they don't do that. And another thing is, Bank of Uganda, we can say, it is a banker for the government. Okay. So government banks with Bank of Uganda. So there is a very big difference there. Okay. But now, on the other thing, for the commercial bank to set their interest rate, it depends on what Bank of Uganda has said. Okay. Now, for example, that they have increased to 10%. If commercial banks have been giving out at around maybe 27, 21, 30%, you're going to find them increasing to, say, from 21 to 25. So, a policy from Bank of Uganda to these commercial banks will automatically translate or transcends, or it will go direct to the beneficiary. All right. Since 1962, when Uganda got independence, in 1968, Uganda received its first constitution. Now, when you look at the situation here, after we got the constitution in 1966, rather, when you look at the fact that the Bank of Uganda was founded in 1966, we've been having 10 governors. Now, out of which the first was Joseph Mary Mubiru from 1966 to 1971. We then moved to Moses Semiano Kingi, 1971 to 1973. We then had Onengi Obel from 1973 to 1978. Henry Kajura from 1978 to 1979. That one summed up the Idi Amin era. Then Charles Chikonyogo from 1979, only in 1979, a couple of months. Gideon Nkonjo from 1979 to 1980. Then we had Leo Kibirango from 1981 to 1986. Suleiman Chigundu, when the NRA took power, 1986 to 1990. Then Charles Chikonyogo from 1990 to 2000. Then from 2001 to 2022, we've been having the late Emmanuel Tumusiime Mutebile. But currently, we do not have a Bank of Uganda governor. We're only having the deputy governor. Some people say the reason as to why some of these things are happening is because we lack one. And definitely, yes. Why is it so? What is the role of the governor that the deputy can do? Article 161, Section 2, vests powers in the board of directors to run Bank of Uganda. And who is the chairperson of the board? Is the governor. The governor. 2 is the person responsible for convening and chairing the meetings. Okay. Now, the pertinent decisions that must be taken by the governor himself. And remember, when we talk of a governor, we are talking of somebody who has a wealth of experience. True. Who is very sober, who is cognitively able. Okay. Now, we have a deputy governor. Okay. In a position, I could say, is on probation. Okay. That is mine. Okay. I could say is on probation. And there is a challenge.
Okay.
In the developing countries, the competence of the governor or of the central bank does not automatically translate into good governance of the bank. Now, in the developing countries, it takes one to be highly disciplined than being a fine economist. Okay. I'm wondering whether you're getting the difference. In the developed countries, they get fine economists with good networks, social and economic networks. Okay? In developed countries. In the developing countries, you can be a fine economist, but you cannot, you can't withstand pressure, political pressure.
You may be good economically.
You are economically excellent, but you cannot withstand that pressure. You remember what happened in 2011 when our late professor said he was ordered to print more money than they did. And later he came and apologized.
For printing that money?
Yes. During 2016 said, please guys, I will not do it again.
It was.
You used the meaning. I can't do it again. You remember that? So, that means it takes one to be highly disciplined with a strong spinal.
Because he was highly speaking more about government borrowing, by the way.
Yes. And I can tell you, our late professor was a fine economist. He knew, he had a wealth of experience. But because he could not, because he could not withstand the pressure, he found himself trapped into it.
Okay.
Printed money, and you remember the walk-to-work stuff, blah blah. The prices were
now
extremely high.
It turned political at the time.
Yes. So now, having a governor means a lot.
Okay.
A governor takes decisions, formulates policies. Actually, you can formulate a policy, then you inform the body. I mean, you must be thinking. You're a good thinker. You must be an intelligent person, bold and strong. That is in the developing and transition to developing countries anyway. Okay, because basically in developing countries, issues do not rely on the professionalism.
Okay.
But ideally, we would rely so much on the profession, on the competences, on the abilities of somebody in that position. But now, for example, today, we have somebody in the names of Itinga as a deputy, and he thinks anytime maybe can be appointed a governor. So you'll find him succumbing to the political pressure to appease the appointing authority. Okay. That is, and that's a fact in the developing countries. So you find that because maybe the appointing authority wants a certain amount of money, should just succumb because you don't want to annoy that person. Yet, a substantive governor would say, no, please, this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm supposed to do it this way. Otherwise, I'm abdicating the job.
Okay, look at it in this way. We have the Minister of Finance now. Yes. We also have State Minister of Finance still. Yes. We have the Deputy Governor.
But now, think they the ministers, these are political positions.
Okay.
Actually, tomorrow I can also be appointed a Minister of Finance.
Very true.
With the some little economics I have, I can be appointed a Minister of Finance. And even somebody without any background of economics.
So that also affects us in a way?
Yes.
Would it be better to have the Minister of Finance as...
You go to Kenya. They appoint somebody who's competent. Now they give you a minister, for example, if you're a Minister of Health, you must have that background of, say, you're a doctor, whatever, but you must have that, we must come with that wealth of experience to sit in that position. That's what Kenyatta said. That for them, they don't just appoint people. They will put you in a position. When you are able to do it. You are able, you have the experience. Okay. You have the knowledge of what you're going to do. But now, the way we get our people in positions, really, you get one of the ministers, just ambush them. Those so-called ministers of finances. Now, remember recently, when we were talking about the Entebbe airport agreement with the Chinese, where we borrowed 200 million.
Where people are, where claims are that the airport was already sold off.
Yes. Minister Kasaija said he signed, but He never.
Oh yeah, he said he signed because he had a lot of documentation.
Yes, so he never read through.
So he didn't go through. He has a lot.
He did not understand the content of the contract.
But he put a sign.
Yes.
Oh, he put a signature.
Saida Bumba, that is 2012. He waived $154 million on for Talo. Talo, is it Talo oil? Yeah, they gave it a waiver of $154 million.
And she didn't understand the.
She said, I thought my technical people had read through.
Because it's the same thing the Minister of Finance did say as well.
Because now these people are not well oriented. Now, when you talk about the governor,
okay,
that team is technical. To be a governor, you must be cognitively able to gather information, screen that information, and come out with the policies, depending on what you have got as information. Okay. But now a minister, at the same time is a member of parliament somewhere, is thinking of the re-election. You find that person, maybe somebody has told him, so and so has died. Now he's thinking of sending him a Mabugo for you are bringing a financial report. He's not going to give it time. But these people in the technical team, that is the governor and the team, they must be in position to scrutinize documents, come up with the policies that can stabilize the economy and the financial systems of the country. So that's why I'm saying it is very paramount, it's important to have a governor in place. Now having a deputy, really, as I told you, you must have somebody substantive. Because now this one is thinking of, with the appointing authority, see me, you have to, you do things to appease. So that's the challenge. So now, if I could ask, who chairs the meetings? Who convenes and chairs?
Okay.
Well, now, if you want to get a new currency, who is responsible for it?
We have no bank.
Assuming our governor, by the time he left us, maybe he left 4 million notes of 10,000. Some of them have been torn out, others have been burnt, others, they are worn out, etc. So, out of the 4 million notes of 10,000, we now have around 3. Don't you think that causes a problem? And who is supposed to record to recall and recollect that? Is the governor himself, and it's not there.
All right. Now, when you look at a country, if I'm to refer you to maybe according to what Moses says, that some countries do give you roles when you can ably execute them, even when your experience is attached to it, as well as your academic qualifications. And in the United Kingdom recently here, the finance minister, Kwasi Kwarteng, that is a Ghanaian born, was sacked as economic shift is expected in the United Kingdom. He was the finance minister in there. I just wanted to relate a little bit more from a country where we benchmark from ably. And he has not been in office for even more than 3 months to be sacked from that particular situation, and he had to step down as the minister or the chancellor of the executive there in the United Kingdom. Lastly, due to time, I've loved the discussion here with all the points that you've been throwing in. What's the way forward? I wish we can at least analyze some of these things, because now, currently, we cannot say we need a governor. We all know we really need. And at the end of the day, Definitely. The appointment of the governor is something most people are still waiting for.
Actually.
But then, what is the best way to live with this inflation now?
It's unfortunate, and you'll allow me borrow just a small leaf from politics. What you have done today, you should engage it more.
To continue with the discussion?
Yes, with the discussion. Because at times these people turn reluctant, but we definitely need a regulator. We need somebody who's sounding. So there is no shortcut to that. And there is no way of saying maybe we do this, because whatever you're thinking of, the so-called fiscal policies, or the financial systems, or policies, the implementer, the chief implementer, the chief originator of them is the governor. So, by all means, because now we have the ministers, Minister of State, the substantive minister, the whatever, the bodies there, but things are not going on well. That literally means there is a vacuum. We need to fill that vacuum at whatever cost. So, how do we do that? Let us drum it more. let us drum it more. What you have done here, if other media companies could do it,
okay,
you might find we might get it. We might get it because of the pressure at times. You remember this recently we had the ECOP staff. They brought those the school children on the road, and eventually you had what the European Union, they had to eat some of their words. So literally, that's what I think will also cause that's what we can also. And I'm not saying people go on the streets for that, but you, the media houses, make it a point to drum that sound every now and then, such that maybe there are some people sleeping. Maybe I don't think Ugandans are lacking competent people to occupy that position. We have so many competent people who can occupy that position. So in other words, there is no shortcut to that. We need one to be in place.
All right. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
Please.
This discussion has been a very good one. I hope I will get in touch with Joseph Kabuleta soon, and very soonest. Matovu Moses here is the spokesperson for the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue, Need Uganda. And that brings us to the end of our topic of discussion. Stick around though. Okay, now speaking of the SMB Insight this time round, we head to the impact the Uganda Airlines has had onto the business community ever since it was revived. Forget the hullabaloo regarding the situations to do with the CEO and all that, but there is a lot of impactful discussions that we can definitely pick up from where the revival has put the business community at, and in regards to the various destinations that it is actually adding to its journey. The Uganda Airlines was revived, and we look at the situation. How has it impacted the business community? This and more with this SMB Insight.
The Uganda Airlines, it definitely did us well because we've, all our business people do travel, do engage in business activities outside Uganda, including both imports and exports. And we had a challenge before we got our national carrier, our national airline, where definitely we would have those inconveniences a lot. Schedules for those foreign airlines, some of them would not favor us, but we couldn't argue anymore. So the revival of the Uganda Airlines made our businesses very easy. Export has now become very easy, but also on the side of import, especially importing those that we don't produce here, I must say that it has also been made quite easy. But also, there are many people who, after making their monies, they would want to go and spend their money for leisure. So the Uganda Airlines has made it easy for people to go out and relax, get out and do business researches in other business countries. So it has really been good. But most importantly, the introduction of the Uganda Airlines, it has especially introducing in the regions around, it has made it very easy because the routes are quite many in the East African region, so we can easily connect with our counterparts. Then them targeting the busiest routes like Dubai, and now they have introduced China, where most of our people, of course, are being trading with for both imports and exports. It is a plus, and most importantly, most of these ideas are born from our own. We are the people that are proposing according to how our businesses are going, as opposed to the foreign airlines that do not basically depend on our feedback because they have their other target markets. Airline has got a lot of advantages. One, for lighter cargo, we prefer using the airline because the turnaround time is really quicker. If you bring your container by sea, you will give it a month. But if you're even shipping it outside, you give it a month to reach its destination. But if you're in China and you're in Dubai, you're connecting to Uganda, you have it is a day to reach here. And so the airline is a bit cheaper, but depending on which business that you are dealing with. Then also, the airline is quite important for us as Ugandans because being an agricultural economy, our exports that are in most cases perishable, we are now at a bigger advantage, because it takes a shorter time to reach its destination and vice versa. Yes. They need to increase their efforts. Is largely on publicity, where the national citizens have really to embrace and own it. But you cannot own it if the awareness, the publicity is really not on the ground. Not only being on TV or wherever, but there are more strategies that they should employ to reach the ground level where these business people operate from, for them to really own it. And the other improvements may be increasing on the local content. If you board the airline, and anything or everything that is on the airline should be local, beginning with the employees. And I must commend them that most of the employees are actually Ugandan, but the edibles, many things, because in turn they are giving an opportunity to our Ugandans to even do business with the airlines.
And there you have it, the Uganda Airlines. And strictly some of the key issues that have been faced by the airlines ever since its revival is the fact that it is yet to become profitable. But we hope with time. People who actually fly the plane or fly the crane across the Pearl of Africa and neighboring countries say that the service on the plane is world class and it's top notch anyway. But we hope that the business community has highly been impacted with this one. After the break, we go on ground with Barija Andrew. It's Tuesday. It's a happy one, trust me. Good morning.